The night was cold and quiet, yet the millionaire sat alone at his polished mahogany desk, staring at the photo of his young son who hadn't spoken a single word in his 7 years of life. His fortune meant nothing to him in those late hours. He had power, wealth, everything money could buy except the one thing his heart longed for: to hear his son say, "Daddy." That was when life would change forever. Ryan Mitchell was not just any man, he was a self-made millionaire. The world envied his empire, but behind the suits, private jets, and headlines, he carried the heavy burden of being a single father. His wife, Emily, had passed away during childbirth, leaving him with both the greatest gift and the greatest heartbreak of his life via his son, Ethan, born healthy but silent. Ethan never spoke. Doctors called it selective mutism. Therapists suggested autism. Specialists prescribed therapies that cost fortunes. Yet, despite all the interventions, Ethan's lips remained sealed. The boy's world was silent, and Ryan's heart broke a little more every day. One evening, exhausted from corporate meetings and desperate for some peace, Ryan decided to take Ethan to a small diner on the edge of town. He rarely went out in public with his son, fearing the looks of strangers and the awkward pity he often received. But something pushed him to walk into that warm, homely place. The diner smelled of fresh coffee, pancakes, and something Ryan hadn't felt in years: comfort. That's when she appeared. A young waitress named Sarah approached their table with a gentle smile that instantly softened Ethan's nervous fidgeting. Sarah wasn't like the others who whispered or pitied the boy. Instead, she crouched to his level and spoke to him as if his silence could never existed. She asked him what he wanted to eat, then paused, waiting patiently for him to respond. Ethan didn't speak, of course, but Sarah didn't move away. Instead, she picked up a napkin and pen and drew a picture of pancakes with a smiley face. Ethan's eyes lit up. For the first time in a long time, Ryan saw his son smile. That single moment hooked Ryan. He didn't know why, but he kept bringing Ethan back to the diner. Day after day, Sarah found small ways to connect with the boy. She would hum little tunes, play simple word games, and sometimes act out silly gestures just to make Ethan giggle. She treated him not as a burden, but as a child with a voice waiting to be heard. Weeks passed, and something miraculous happened. One quiet morning, as Sarah knelt beside Ethan, pointing at a drawing of a sun, she whispered softly, "Can you say it?" Sunday. Ryan's heart nearly stopped when Ethan's lips parted. A sound escaped, a shaky but clear sound. Ryan dropped his coffee cup, eyes filling with tears. It was the first time his son had spoken. From that day, Sarah became more than just a waitress. She became a teacher, a guide, and slowly, a part of their lives. Ryan offered her money, taught even a position in his home as Ethan's caregiver. Sarah refused the riches, saying all she wanted was to help Ethan find his voice. Her kindness, patience, and belief in the boy did what no doctor, no therapist, and no amount of money ever could. But the journey wasn't smooth. Ethan struggled, sometimes retreating back into silence, especially when Ryan's business kept him away for long hours. Ryan realized his empire meant nothing if his son was left behind. He began canceling meetings, cutting down hours, and spending time with Ethan. And each time he sat with them at the diner, Sarah encouraged both father and son. She reminded Ryan that Ethan didn't just need therapy, he needed love, presence, and patience. Months turned into a year, and Ethan blossomed. He began stringing words together, whispering sentences. He called Sarah Sawa in his small, imperfect voice. And one night, as Ryan tucked him into bed, Ethan looked up with wide, innocent eyes and whispered the word his father had been waiting to hear all his life: "Daddy." Ryan broke down, holding his son in his arms, whispering, "I'm here. I'll always be here." What happened next changed everything. Ryan invited Sarah into their lives fully, not just as a helper but as family. He realized he had been searching for answers in wealth, when the truth was in kindness, love, and the courage of one ordinary woman who refused to give up on a silent boy. Eventually, Ryan and Sarah's bond grew deeper, and not out of wealth or convenience, but out of a shared love for Ethan. Years later, Ethan stood in front of his classmates during a school recital, confidently reading a short poem. His voice was strong, steady, and filled with life. Ryan's eyes glistened with tears as Sarah squeezed his hand. They had built a new family, and not perfect, not planned, but filled with love and hope. And so, the millionaire single dad who once sat alone in silence learned the greatest lesson of all. Money could build empires, but only love could build voices, heal hearts, and change destinies.